evening, everybody. Mark asked me to go through the Gates plan with you. Now, as I do this, I'm going to be looking at your faces about how fast you want me to go. It's going to be a significant change in how the district does our work. And it's a significant change for all of us. A lot of it's with teachers, of course, but it's for the system as a whole. Just real quickly about where we are with it. We're not allowed yet to say that we have a grant, but we are as close to having a grant as we could be without having a grant. And that will last another 3 or 4 weeks. We've already begun the work under the grant, and we've asked the board to authorize us to hire various people, but we won't actually sign contracts until we have a contract from the Gates Foundation. It's probably going to end up being a 6 to 7 year grant rather than the initial 5-year grant, partly because of, believe it or not, even they have had some money problems. But they are putting $500 million in a bank account that is for all the 5 districts that are the winners to use on the teacher effectiveness grant. We don't know how much money we get. We get a smaller share than most because we're by far the smallest district in the final pool.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you, but we're not quite there, but thank you. It's huge. Okay, so this is the vision statement. If any of you who have had the joy in life of working on vision statements know that every word becomes a battle. So I will read this to you, recognizing that each and every word here actually has some meaning. We commit that with robust, enduring district support and mutual accountability, you can imagine how long that took to work out, Pittsburgh teachers will be empowered as effective leaders to do whatever it takes, which is actually very important language in education, to foster a culture of striving, resilience, and college readiness so that over 80% of all students complete a post-secondary degree or workforce certification. This is an 11-year vision. Okay, because in truth, not even upper-income suburban districts reach this goal. So it's a highly aspirational goal. I mean, when we set out our own Excellence for All goals, they were highly aspirational. But as we go through this, you will see what it will take to get us there, or at least an analysis of it. Gates' goal is not just high school readiness. As you saw from our vision, they believe, as we believe, that our goal has been wrong. Okay, that our systemic efforts have been wrong. That we haven't, our goal has been as public education institutions to help kids cross the stage at high school graduation. And that might have been an appropriate goal 30 years ago when we had a manufacturing sector that was robust and that could employ people and give good wages, but now it isn't. You know, just seeing a kid across the stage at graduation is not sufficient. They need to be prepared to get some education after high school in order to have a really decent chance. Now, we do not in this plan differentiate between a technical school, an electrician certificate, a welder certificate. All work is honorable. All professional readiness is great. What we do not want anymore is to be putting kids out on the economy, totally ill-prepared for life. So that's why it's said in there, notice the words workforce certification. That is as, you know, a successful story for a child or a student, they're not children anymore, as other things have happened. And I say this in front of Mr. Tark and others, we made probably a decade's worth of progress with our union in terms of changing some discussions in 3 months. Because the discussions were different, we got ourselves in a collaborative problem-solving mode, which is not what collective bargaining is. Collective bargaining is 2 oppositional parties sitting across the table and saying, here's what I want, and one party saying no, the other party saying, you know, okay, we're walking. It's not constructive dialogue. Now, the key for us is to maintain that kind of relationship going forward. So here's what we believe. We believe that we have done some foundational work about building our capacity to do work, about the curriculum, and about principles that sets the stage for the teacher effectiveness work, which is this work. This grant, a lot of people have told me, by the way, oh, I've got some interesting ways for you to spend your Gates money. There's nothing optional in the Gates money. It's all around teacher effectiveness. You know, people have said, oh, Gates, they must love technology, right? Why don't we buy computers for all our schools? No, it's all around this. And the reason they chose this is all the data in educational research shows that the most powerful factor by far in a child's education is the quality of the teaching. So our argument to them was, you know, a lot of the districts that were competing obviously had done a lot of work, but we believe that the teacher effectiveness piece on top of these other efforts does yield a lot of potential for significant student achievement growth, and that we had the promise at the end so that Gates' real goal, which is to increase American college graduation rates. Remember, American college graduation rates have been stuck at around 28 to 31% for 30 years. About the same number of Americans graduate college today as did 30 years ago. And this is while other nations have dramatically improved their college graduation rates. So that's their ultimate goal. So the promise, we think, made it very attractive too. Okay, this gets a little tough. Every district that was competing had to develop a proxy, a substitute measure for college readiness right now, and it had to pass their muster. Believe me, these are these are substantial people in terms of you can't give them a story. They will review it, they will analyze it. They had people in the district at great length, they were all over our data. We had to come up with a proxy for how many of our kids are college ready now. And I give you this telling you it's a proxy. It's the best estimate we could do. Now, Gates' definition of promise readiness is a rigorous one. It means not needing any remediation. In other words, you can go to college and you don't need any help. Math, literacy, ready. So our best proxy, which passed muster with them, was based on a complicated, and I couldn't fully explain it to you, analysis of advanced students in PSSA with particular weight on mathematics advanced in 11th grade, because that's the strongest correlation that researchers have seen with college success. And doing that number showed that approximately, and again, that's all we can say, 29% of our graduates right now are college ready. Now that may seem sort of disappointing to us. It was actually higher than most of the districts we were competing with. Most urban districts don't have that high a number. So the goal in the original 5 years of the plan, it's an 11-year plan, but the goal in the 5 years of the plan was to get that number to 50% in 5 years, which is highly aspirational. I don't have data on it, but I would suggest there's not an urban district that is close to that number currently, and we're not close to it. We're that far away. So then the question becomes, all right, through again, a data analysis, how do you get there? So the second thing we had to develop a proxy for, and again, I just want to emphasize proxy, was how many of our teachers are currently effective or highly effective.